Welcome back. Today we'll discuss why obedience in society is so important. I'm going to share with you a short story that will be able to be used in your family to help you and your children and those around you understand this important principle and apply it in your life. So why is obedience so important in society? I'll tell you. Freedom isn't free. You've probably heard that before. Freedom isn't free. It comes as we live according to laws and principles that govern freedom. And yet so many of us struggle with that idea that freedom isn't free, right? We just want to do what we want to do, right? I just want to eat cake all day and not have to worry about getting fat. I just want to jump off a cliff and not have to worry about splatting at the bottom. I just want to fly. There's so many things in life that we just want to do what we want to do. We don't want people telling us not to do things, the speed limit, right? You just want to drive as fast as you want to drive and get there. And you don't want to have people telling you how fast to drive and why you have to do this. People telling you what time to be to work and things like that. We don't like people telling us what to do. And yet, there are principles and laws that govern freedom that if we didn't have those, if we didn't follow those, we lose the right to freedom. So for those of you that have children or young ones, or know someone that has children or young ones that struggle with this idea of rules, like why can't I go to bed whenever I want, or I just want to go out and play with friends, or why do I have to eat dinner first, or why. You hear that over and over, right, with the kids. And the thing is, we're all kids and we all struggle with that. And so I wrote a book to help teach this principle to children on why obedience is so important, not only in society, but also in our own homes and in our own lives. And so this story is called A Dust Mite's Lesson, The Importance of Obedience. So this book is dedicated to my mom, and I say to her, thank you for being patient with me as I learn to be obedient, and thanks especially for teaching me to be obedient to the promptings that come from God. I love you, Mom. Martin Luther said, I cannot and will not recant anything. For to go against conscience is neither right nor safe. Here I stand. I can do no other, so help me God. Amen. 2 weeks ago, and 33 miles away, this story took place. It occurred in a nice little home. It begins on the mantle, behind a picture of a nice little family. This story is about a little dust mite named Dusty. Dusty and her family lived behind a picture frame in a crack in the mantel, and they had lived there all her life. It was a safe place because the picture was never moved during the daily dusting. The family dusted in front of the picture, just never behind it, which was perfect for the family of dust mites. Dusty loved exploring. She would challenge herself and see how far away from the picture frame she could get before her parents noticed. They didn't like her going out without their permission. They told her that it wasn't always safe, and they just needed to know so they could help make sure it was safe to play. There were many dangers to be aware of. She needed to stay close to the picture frame because if she strayed too far, she might fall off the edge or get swept away when the people did their daily cleaning. Dusty just thought her parents were being overprotective. She knew what she was doing. Nothing bad was ever going to happen to her. Today was a new day. Dusty was excited to do more exploring and see if she could beat her previous record for distance away from home. Yesterday, she had made it all the way to the far side of the large clock, which was halfway across the mantel. As Dusty was getting ready to leave, her mom came over and said, Dusty, I need you to go and gather more dust particles, please. Dusty did not want to do chores right now. She wanted to explore. Mom, she whined, I was just going to play. You can play after gathering the dust particles, her mother replied firmly. Okay, Dusty said grumpily as she went to gather some dust. She neglected to do what she had been taught and ran out into the open without looking both ways. Dusty's parents had always taught her the importance of looking first, just in case the people decided to clean at different times. As Dusty rushed into the open space in front of the picture frame, she was slammed from the side by a huge yellow cloth. She struggled to find traction to pull herself away, but it was no use. She was pushed right off of the mantel. Dusty wished that she would have done what her mother had asked her to do and gathered the dust particles. If she'd been obedient, then this wouldn't have happened. Dusty was feeling very scared and sad. I might never see my parents again, she thought to herself. All of this went through her mind as she slowly floated through the air towards the floor. For Dusty, it felt like she would be floating forever. She floated next to a fan which was blowing at high speed. She was pushed quickly to the other side of the room, tumbling in all directions until she bumped against the wall. Dusty then slowly fell down towards the ground. As she was getting close to the floor, Helga, the house dog, a German shepherd, came walking by. Dusty landed on Helga's back. Helga walked over and jumped up onto the couch for her afternoon nap. Just then, Fabian, the flea, sprang over to her, calling out in a language Dusty did not understand. Hey, du, das ist mein Bereich! Geh weg von hier und lass dich nie mehr blicken! Startled, Dusty quickly worked to get herself off of the dog. That flea did not sound very nice. As Dusty was just about to get off of Helga and onto the couch, there was a knock at the front door. Helga jumped up so quickly that the momentum knocked Dusty off. After a moment of floating, Dusty landed on the couch. By this time, Dusty was terrified and really sad. Again, she wondered if she would ever see her family again. She could see the picture frame her family lived behind all the way across the room up on the mantel. They're probably so worried about me, she thought to herself sadly. Just then, Dusty realized that the couch probably wasn't the best or safest place for her to be. So she started to work on getting off. Her parents always told her to never give up and that things would work out. She decided to listen to her parents' advice this time, and it helped her feel a little better. As Dusty slowly fell from the couch to the carpet, she heard a boy, Yannick, answer the front door. Hey, Blake, Yannick said. Hey, do you want to come play soccer? Blake asked. Yeah, I'd love to go play soccer. I just need to do my chores first, Yannick replied. Can't you do your chores later? Blake complained. I want to be able to play as long as possible. Nope, Yannick responded. I told my mom that they would be done by the time she got home. You can help if you'd like, though. It will help them get done faster. Okay, Blake said. What do you have to do? If you'll dust the bookshelf, I'll vacuum, Yannick said. Vacuum? Did he just say vacuum? Dusty exclaimed. Her great aunt Dirty was sucked up by a vacuum once and never returned. This was not Dusty's day. Hasn't enough gone wrong today? She thought to herself. Dusty thought it would be safest under the couch. Blake definitely wouldn't move the couch. The vacuum roared to life. He vacuumed the whole floor, coming really close to where Dusty was hiding under the couch a couple of times. During those moments, she clung to the carpet as she felt the sucking of the vacuum tugging at her. Finally, the vacuum was turned off. Whew, I'm safe. Just then, Blake moved the couch. Dusty froze with fear. There was nothing she could do. The boy turned the vacuum back on and started moving towards her. Dusty closed her eyes and said, This really sucks. Sorry, Mom and Dad. At that moment, the vacuum went over her and she was swallowed up into a dark tunnel with no light at the end. She spun around and around until she was incredibly dizzy. After the boy finished vacuuming, he turned off the vacuum. Dusty settled down with tons of dust particles, dog fur, cereal pieces, a creepy toy head, and a dead cockroach. The boy then took the container out of the vacuum to empty. He walked over to the trash and dumped the contents into it. As he dumped them, there was a cloud of dust that rose from the trash. Dusty was part of that dust cloud. She floated up and up and up. As she looked around, she realized she was floating in the direction of her home. She continued to float over and eventually bumped into the picture frame that her family lived behind. She slowly slid down the picture until she landed on the mantel. She was overjoyed to be so close to home, but also worried about what her parents would say. Dusty slowly gathered the courage to eventually go around the picture frame. Dusty didn't see her parents until she got close enough to see over the edge of the crack. They were both kneeling with their heads bowed. As she got closer, she could hear her dad praying. Please bless Dusty, that she will be okay and will return home safely. We love her so much. When Dusty heard her parents praying for her and expressing how much they loved her, something shifted inside her. She always knew that her parents loved her, but now after having almost lost them, it was so much more powerful. Dusty rushed to her mom and dad and gave them a huge hug. Her parents opened their eyes surprised. When they saw Dusty, they wrapped her up in hugs and covered her with kisses. They began to cry because they were so happy and grateful she was safely home. "Dusty, where have you been?" her mom asked. "We were so worried about you." "Well, it's a long story," Dusty said slowly. "I'm so sorry I disobeyed you." She then told them all about her experience of being knocked off the mantle, blown by a fan, yelled at by a foreign flea, and swallowed by a vacuum. After hearing the incredible story, her dad said, "Dusty, we love you. We are so happy you are safe. The reason we set rules is because we love you and want you to be happy. It's not to limit your freedom. It's to give you freedom." "I can see that more clearly now," Dusty said. "I love you too, Mom and Dad. Thank you." From then on, Dusty did what her parents asked her to do, even if she didn't understand why. She knew they loved her and wanted the best for her, and she trusted them. Dusty had learned from her mistake and experience. Dusty had learned the importance of obedience. Beautiful little story. And how powerful that is to understand that rules, universal laws, and principles are there to govern our freedom. And as we identify what those are and we live accordingly, we get more freedom in our life. As we become responsible for the freedom we're given, we are usually given more. And understanding that is vital to us continuing to live in a free country, in a free society. So why is obedience so important for our society? You tell me. Freedom. Freedom is why obedience is so important. And it's not just obedience to like the traffic laws and things like that, as it is to a grander obedience to universal laws and principles that govern that. Yes, there is more freedom that comes from living by the traffic rules. Because for those of you that have been to countries where there are no traffic laws, it takes longer to get places, right? So when we have those laws in place, actually allows us to travel more safely and get to our destinations more quickly when we follow those certain laws that govern us. So there's that obedience to the universal laws and things like that. But another aspect that I want to encourage you to learn for yourself and teach others around you is the importance of obedience to that inner voice that will lead us into joy and fulfillment. Because all of us have that intuition, that hunch, that gut feeling, the spirit, whatever it is that you call that, obedience to that inner voice is what will bring ultimate freedom for our society, for the world, and for each of us individually. So I also invite you to tune in, and when you feel that prompting, that intuition speak to you, obey quickly. And as you do so, you will experience more joy and happiness in your life than ever before. So I invite you to step into that. If you found value in this book and you'd like to purchase a copy for you or anyone you know, you can click on the link that's in the comments. It will take you to Amazon so you can purchase that. And I look forward to seeing you again soon.